Welcome to our channel. In this vid, we will be discussing on the Rolex brand story. Rolex SA is a Swiss watch designer and manufacturer based in Geneva, Switzerland. Founded in 1905 as Wilsdorf and Davis by Hans Wilsdorf and Alfred Davis in London. The company registered Rolex as the brand name of its watches in 1908 and became Rolex Watch Co. Ltd. In 1915, after World War I, the company moved its base of operations to Geneva because of the unfavorable economy in the United Kingdom. In 1920, Hans Wilsdorf registered Montre's Rolex SA in Geneva as the new company name. Montre is French for clock or watch. It later became Rolex SA. Since 1960, the company has been owned by the Hans Wilsdorf Foundation, a private family trust. Rolex SA and its subsidiary Montre's Tudor SA design, make, distribute, and service wristwatches sold under the Rolex and Tudor brands. In 2023, Rolex agreed to acquire its longtime retail partner Bucherer. In 1908, Wilsdorf registered the trademark Rolex, which became the brand name of watches from Wilsdorf and Davis. He opened an office in La Chaux-de-Fonds, Switzerland. Wilsdorf wanted the brand name to be easily pronounceable in any language and short enough to fit on the face of a watch. He also thought that the name Rolex was onomatopoeic, sounding like a watch being wound. Rolex SA offers products under the Rolex and Tudor brands. Tudor SA has designed, manufactured and marketed Tudor watches since the 6th of March 1946. Rolex founder Ken McCulloch and his wife conceived Tudor to create a product for authorized Rolex dealers to sell that offered the reliability and dependability of a Rolex, but at a lower price. The number of Rolex watches was limited by the rate that they could produce in-house Rolex movements. Thus Tudor watches were originally equipped with third-party standard movements supplied by ETA SA while using Rolex quality cases and bracelets. Since 2015, Tudor has begun to manufacture watches with in-house movements. The first model introduced with an in-house movement was the Tudor North Flag. Following this, updated versions of the Tudor Pelagos and Tudor Heritage Black Bay have also been fitted with an in-house caliber. Tudor watches are marketed and sold in most countries around the world. Montre's Tudor SA discontinued sales of Tudor branded wrists. While Rolex mostly produces mechanical watches, it also participated in development of the original quartz watch movements, although Rolex has made very few quartz models. For its Oyster line, the company's engineers were instrumental in design and implementation of the technology during the late 1960s and early 1970s. In 1968, Rolex collaborated with a consortium of 16 Swiss watch manufacturers to develop the Beta 21 quartz movement used in their Rolex Quartz Date 5100, alongside other manufacturers including the Omega Electroquartz watches. Within about 5 years of research, design and development, Rolex created the clean slate 5035-5055 movement that would eventually power the Rolex Oyster Quartz. Rolex GMT Master to Gold and Stainless Steel Ref 116713LN. Material-wise, Rolex first used its Chirachrome ceramic bezel on the GMT Master II in 2005, and has since then implemented ceramic bezel inserts across the range of professional sports watches. They are available on the Submariner, Sea Dweller, Deepsea, GMT Master II and Daytona models. In contrast to the aluminum bezel, which it replaced, the ceramic bezel color does not wear out from exposure to UV light and is scratch resistant. Rolex uses 9.0 for L-grade stainless steel. In contrast, most Swiss watches are made with 316L grade steel. Rolex uses the higher grade, as it is more resistant to corrosion and when polished, leaves a more attractive luster. Each Rolex comes with a unique serial number, which can help indicate its approximate production period. Serial numbers were first introduced in 1926 and were issued sequentially until 1954, when Rolex restarted from number 999,000. 999 to number 0. In 1987, there was an addition of one letter to a 6-digit serial number, and in 2010, to the present date, Rolex introduced random serial numbers. In 1926, Rolex produced the Oyster case. While they claim this was the first reliable waterproof wristwatch case based on a screw-down crown, it was not. De Pollier's case was patented 8 years earlier. To this end, Rolex acquired the per-go-per-it screw-down patent, added a clutch, and combined the screw-down crown with a threaded case back and bezel. Wilsdorf even had a specially made Rolex watch. The watch was called the Deepsia, attached to the side of Trieste, which went to the bottom of the Mariana Trench. The watch survived and tested as having kept perfect time during its descent and ascent. This was confirmed by a telegram sent to Rolex the following day, saying, "I am happy to confirm that even at 11,000 meters your watch is as precise as on the surface. Best regards, Jacques Piccard." Earlier waterproof watches, such as the submarine watch by Tavons, used other means to seal the case. In 1910, the first watchmaker to earn chronometer certification for a small lady wristwatch, in 1931, released a wristwatch winding mechanism featuring a rotor, a full 360 degrees rotating weight to power the watch by the movement of the wearer's arm. As well as making watch winding unnecessary, it also kept the power from the mainspring more consistent, resulting in more reliable timekeeping. Fully rotating weights later became part of the standard winding mechanism of self-winding wristwatches. A preceding self-winding mechanism by Harwood instead used a weight that moved in a 270 degrees arc, hitting buffer springs on both sides. In 1945, introduced the first chronometer wristwatch with an automatically changing date on the dial, Rolex de Tejas Ref 4467. An earlier wristwatch with a date-changing mechanism by Mimo was not chronometer certified. In 1953, released a case waterproof to 100 meters 330 feet in the Rolex Oyster Perpetual Submariner Ref 6204. Although this has been commonly publicized as the first diving watch, in 1930 Omega had released the Marine, which could stand 135 MTS, 35 MTS more than the 1953 Rolex Submariner. Blancpain produced their 50 Fathoms watch in 1953, 10 months before the Rolex Submariner. In 1954, produced a wristwatch which showed the time zones at once in the Rolex GMT Master Ref 6542. 42. Yet again, it was not the first company to do so, as the Longines dual time preceded the GMT by a full quarter of a century. In 1956, Rolex made a wristwatch with an automatically changing day and date on the dial in the Rolex day date. Rolex watches are frequently counterfeited and often illegally sold on the street and online. Counterfeit Rolex watches vary in quality. Some use cheap movements, while others use automatic movements, and some use an ETA movement. O.J. Simpson wore a counterfeit Rolex during his 1994 murder trial. In general, Rolex has 3 watch lines: Oyster Perpetual, Professional, and Cellini. The Cellini line is Rolex's line of dress watches. The primary bracelets for the Oyster line are named Jubilee, Oyster, President, and Pearl Master. The watch straps on the models are usually either stainless steel, yellow gold, white gold, or rose gold. In the United Kingdom, the retail price for the stainless steel pilots range, such as the GMT Master 2, starts from $5,600. Diamond inlay watches are more expensive. The book Vintage Wristwatches by Antiques Roadshow's Rain Haynes listed a price estimate of vintage Rolex watches that ranged between $650 United States dollars and $75,000 United States dollars, while listing vintage Tudors between $250 United States dollars and $9,000 United States dollars. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel and press the notification button for the next video.